So we're going to be looking at the Amazing Digital Circus and taking a look at the personality types of the main characters, not the NPCs, not today. So we'll be delving into their anxieties and fears and their personality types, and you can let me know which one would you be.
You really can't leave, and constantly chasing an unattainable goal will start driving you a bit crazy. And eventually you get to asking what the point of anything is, and you completely lose sight of who you are and why you're even alive, and when you reach your breaking point, something really terrible can happen.
What Ragatha is talking about is whenever you're trying to do something over and over again, that anxiety of not being able to attain something or wanting something and it just never happens. It's called learned helplessness, when you keep on doing the same thing and you don't attain that goal. But also with learned helplessness, it ends up giving you that feeling of an existential dread, a feeling of what's even the purpose to any of this?
I know we didn't always get along, like when you called me out for fake laughing at your jokes. I swear I really did think they were funny. I was just having a bit of a bad day!
Ragatha is that quintessential caretaker. She's often unsure of herself, and her being that archetype of the rag doll I think is exceptionally fitting, because the rag doll is the one that you throw around and beat up, and they're always there for more. And she's even missing an eye and had one replaced. I think that shows a lot of that cautionary tale of being a caretaker. Saying yes and always people-pleasing when sometimes it would be better to set some boundaries. Caretakers also often attach themselves to people that will hurt them and continue to come back for more. They often also have a difficulty with their own self-worth. They're always trying to people-please, even if it comes at their own cost. I also think that this scene shows that secret wish of the caretaker to be cared for and protected.
Thank you. Help me out here. I understand you don't want to, though.
And that part that she says, could you help me, but I would understand if you don't want to. Right away, she's already making excuses for others. Caretakers also will often feel what someone else will feel over themselves, or when you ask them how they're feeling, they'll respond about how someone else is feeling. And they feel really comfortable to be able to defend and protect others, but often they wouldn't do the same thing for themselves.
I'm more worried she's having another horrible experience. She still seems really upset about what happened yesterday. I don't think she really likes me that much.
It's a lot for anybody to go through.
And that feeling of not being liked is often really common also of caretaker personalities. And the interesting part is that she should be the one that's upset. A lot of caretakers have a difficult time of being angry at other people, but it would be a fair thing if she was upset at Pomni for leaving her to the abstraction. Even though it's understandable, the abstraction was really, really scary, but it would still be an understandable emotion. But not only is she not angry or upset about that, but she worries that the other person doesn't like her.
Don't take it too personally. I remember how long it took for you to adjust.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised you remember that.
Remember what?
It's really sweet how warm she felt by being remembered, being seen. Often caretakers lose parts of themselves, lose their identity in living lives for others, doing things for others, giving up things. And for caretakers, they're often so worried about being abandoned or being forgotten that they'll say yes to a lot of situations, going out to eat to restaurants they don't want to go to, or seeing movies that they might not want to see. And so being remembered or having someone do something for you is often very healing for them. And so for those of you that are Ragathas, you really do want to work on learning about your own identity, the things you like and that you don't, and being able to say no, even though that sometimes can be a really scary thing.
Oh no, they killed Zubul. Anyway, you guys want to go get something to eat?
So Jax puts himself first. He cares about himself, and really the way that he goes about the world is that good things are things that are good for him and bad things are things that are bad for him. A lot of people that have learned to make sure to take care of themselves is because when they were growing up, they weren't taken care of, and they learned very early that if they don't care for themselves, if they don't trust themselves, that no one else would. So they end up being really resourceful and always thinking about the gains in a situation that they may need as leverage at a later date. And you can also tell the tone where he talks about killing Zubul, kind of this monotonous tone that he really doesn't care. He says the words, but they don't matter. He feels no empathy, or at least outwardly shows that he's feeling no empathy, which could be two ways. Sometimes we do that because we're trying to protect ourselves from feeling, so we're acting like we don't to keep people away and at a distance. And sometimes it's because we genuinely don't feel that way, which would kind of separate the difference between him being either more narcissistic or sociopathic, or more defensive and self-preservation. You can let me know as we go through to see a little bit more of Jax's character, which way he might align.
You shouldn't have keys to anyone's room.
Nah, I've got keys everywhere, and you've all been fine. By the way, I may have left something in your room today, so you're not afraid of centipedes, are you?
Jax!
What? It could be a completely unrelated question. You'll never know until it's too late.
So Jax has that mischievous trait, but also he uses the power dynamics to his own benefit. Plus, he has complete issues with boundaries and consequences, being able to use things that he might need to get ahead at a later state, feeling absolutely no shame in doing it either.
Oh, he's doing great. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen him this happy before.
Well, it's good to know he hasn't completely lost his mind.
He actually asked me to give you this.
Oh!
I feel a little bit torn about this scene with Jax, because at first I was like, oh, he saved everyone else from Kaufmo, but it also was a little bit self-serving. He's safer as well if he's with a group. So this could be a little bit of him being mischievous and trying to protect everyone else, or do you think it was more just self-serving and self-preservation, where he threw the bowling ball to make sure that everyone's there to keep him safe as well? You can let me know in the comments below.
You're still watching it?
I'm not here for the adventure or anything. I'm just here to hide from the...
So that shows a little bit that Jax was more hiding out from the abstraction than trying to protect everyone else. But sometimes we don't want to let other people know that we care about them. And so we try to protect people or do the right thing, but don't want to carry all of that emotional baggage of people leaning on us or expecting that from us all the time. We may believe that people in the end are going to be self-serving to us as well. And so why get close to people?
I'm so unbelievably disappointed right now.
Well, maybe there'll be blood, death, and violence in the next adventure.
Ha 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 ha, how wholesome.
And there are some people that are needing of adrenaline to feel that dopamine because they want to feel anything at all. So does Jax just want to have death and destruction because he wants to feel anything, or do you think it's because he thrives upon it and he leans more towards being mischievous than he leans more towards being nefarious?
Farewell, brave knights.
Oh, hey, maybe I didn't leave the gate unlocked for nothing after all.
What? I thought he was dead. You still did that?
Okay, wait. You did what now?
Well, love to help you again sometime. Bye!
For me, Jax kind of leans more on being mischievous than being someone that's sociopathic, though he definitely has a certain amount of tendencies, especially to the poor candy people. But he also knows that these are all NPCs, and he does still protect all of the people that are people around him, even though he knows that this is a digital circus. He knows that this is all digital, so we can't take what he does seriously. The things that you do in a game or on a digital realm is not the same thing that you might do in real life. Sometimes we act out the wants that we have inside of us in different ways that can be helpful, but you still want to know that that doesn't mean that people might not get hurt as well. But that doesn't mean that even if you're playing a game or something isn't real, that real people's feelings will not be hurt because of that. Because words can hurt, and trust is really important, and sometimes you're going to need people to trust you. So if you've been playing pranks on people, especially if they're crossing lines of boundaries and safety and trust, you have to be wary, because there might be a point where you need someone to trust you and they won't.
One of Kane's little adventures. They're just something fun to do to, prevent us from going insane.
Speak for yourself. If anyone needs me, then off.
Oh God, oh Jesus!
Zuby has a personality type that often gets overloaded and probably is working so hard just to manage keeping everything that they have together that they can't carry anyone else's load. The nice part is that Zubo is aware of that, and so when feels overloaded, they leave a situation in hopes that they can continue to maintain themselves. I think that it's hard for other people to understand when someone leaves a situation because they're overloaded or things are too much for them or they need to take care of themselves. That is actually a healthy defense mechanism to leave a situation if it is too much. Not always is that possible, but sometimes things are just overloading and other people may not understand it or see it as being cold or callous because you can't carry anyone else's load. But you have to be aware of what you can and what you can't do. So Zubo in a lot of ways would be the opposite of Ragatha's character traits. A whole bunch of these different pieces that don't always fit together, that are kind of mismatched, that can be changed and altered and sometimes held together just by sticks. And sometimes don't we all feel that way, that we're just trying to glue everything together, keep things together so that we can function and survive.
Oh, thank God you're okay. You didn't experience a game show in there, did you?
What are you talking about?
I also love the dry humor and that I don't care, why are you bothering me kind of attitude. It's so refreshing to me to be able to have someone that kind of gives you that brush off, even though she's just been rescued. Instead of her feeling all thank you so much and gushing with emotions, she's more of that analytical person that holds everything in and keeps everyone at arm's length.
Bubble, you can't say that.
Nope.
Silver White! I'm testing out a new AI in this one. It should be 57 times more immersive.
Ooh, a new AI. You don't want to mess with the new AI, Zuby?
Yeah, no.
So Zuby is that more analytical type of person. The person that has a gruff exterior, but you don't want to assume that just because someone has a gruff exterior that they're not soft and warm on the inside. Actually, often this personality type, if they allow you to get close enough to them, can actually be really warm and caring and thoughtful, but only to people that they see warranted or that they respect enough to care about.
Got everything ready.
Now, I know that this is just a little tiny moment, but I think that this shows that Zubul really does care. From the tone of her voice to being able to touch Pomni, to be able to comfort her. Her going over there to try to comfort Pomni really does show that people matter to her. And that's the thing, is that you don't want to judge someone just on the behavior, but where are they usually and what is the change? And I think that that's a huge change from Zuby usually keeping people at arm's length. This is Zuby showing that it matters to me and I feel bad that you're hurt. And you want to actually judge people's behavior on differences and alterations. If someone's always very exuberant with affection, then them being exuberant with affection is their baseline. And so it would only be the difference of negative to positive that would show a difference in how they feel. So if you are more of a Zubul, you might have difficulty with being able to let people in. You might show off with having a rough exterior to try to keep people away because they may be overloading, it may be too much, or you may worry about getting hurt. And so I think that Zuby's journey is to be able to let people in and to let people know who they are.
My comedy mask is broken again.
Ah! Oh! Gangle, you startled me.
Gangle is that character type that's dealing with depression or seem to be a depressive person. And so they're constantly wearing a mask of pretending to be okay so that everyone else feels all right around them. Trying to pretend that you are happy and everything is okay is exhausting though. And I think that it's very true that sometimes that mask just breaks and you just can't do it anymore. So often people that are more depressive or dealing with depression will just kind of stay inside and not want to interact with others because they can't pretend anymore. And only with people that you really trust would you be able to let go of that mask and show them who you really are. And it's just such a difficult thing to have to do all of the time. Pretending is exhausting, and so you already don't have that much energy, and now you have to expend even more energy to pretend something that isn't happening. If you don't have any more energy left in your tank, then this is probably too much energy in the first place.
All right, Gangle. When we catch up to them, I'll jump over, crawl inside, and shoot them repeatedly until they're unrecognizable.
I feel like that violates some kind of convention.
You're violating my ears with your clapback. Get driving, driver.
When you're already emotionally overloaded and there's not much energy left, it takes so much more energy to be able to fight off people and be able to deal with other things. Sometimes because you are working so hard just to survive, just to breathe, just to get out of bed, that you're just going to follow along, even if you don't feel comfortable with something. And that can often be something that someone that is more manipulative might take advantage of.
Hey, Ribbons! Up and at 'em!
I don't think we...
Aren't you supposed to be submissive and agreeable? Move it!
And so that can happen, that you're already so fragile that you could break, just like the mask that you're wearing. But for Gangle, at least she does stand up for herself and say something. But to have to fight someone all the time is so exhausting when you're already doing so much just to fight to survive.
But it'll be epic.
Why are there so many knives back here?
Do it, or I'll tell Ragatha about the figurine thing.
And that worry of being threatened, like already if someone's going to threaten to use something against you, that's already a really difficult situation to be in. You don't want to be in that situation because once someone knows that they can use something against you, they will continue to do it all the time. You don't want to deal with those kind of situations. You want to be able to say it in the first place because usually it's better to just get it out and deal with it than have this used against you and then be constantly feeling that threat. So hopefully at some point Gangle will just let it out on their own. So if you're more of a Gangle, you might be dealing with depression or depressive symptoms and feel like you're constantly having to fake it with those around you. I would definitely say that sharing it so that people can know that sometimes I need a little bit of space or sometimes I'm not feeling that great, and being able to get the help to be able to treat yourself. Sometimes though you feel so low that you don't think that you're worth it, or that you feel that there's just darkness around you and there's not a light at the end of the tunnel. But there is, you can get help. And especially for Gangle, to have all of these other people that you're becoming friends with and learning to make a new family. So if you're a Gangle, hopefully you will learn that you are worth it and be able to get the help to live better. And if you need help, there will be some links in the description.
Mommy! Thank you. Perhaps help me out here. I understand that you don't want to.
And Pomni is that gesture that doesn't really see their own true value, their true worth. But here Pomni is showing such strength, even though they're scared. Pomni, even though I think that Pomni gets a lot of hate for not saving Ragatha, Pomni did try, reached out her hand and tried to, and only when she got zapped herself did she run scared. Really easy to judge other people for being really frightened, but she did make the attempt to do it. But sometimes our fear gets the better of us and we end up going into fight or flight. That's a really common anxiety, that feeling that no matter what you're doing, you're going through something over and over again and nothing's changing. That feeling of being trapped, being stuck, that no matter what you choose, nothing really is going to matter. And that can cause those feelings of existential dread, that feeling that nothing really matters. What is the purpose to all of this? And I think that that is what this digital circus is about each of us finding our own purpose and ourselves at the same time. And Pomni is actually really resourceful, can think outside of the box, and has a whole bunch of leadership skills. But she seems to always second guess herself or underplay her own traits and values. And that can often happen, especially if we've never been told that or never recognized for the things that we bring to the table. Or if we have a lot of people around us that take our ideas and make them their own, we can often lose sight of who we actually are and our own self-worth.
I'm nothing. So fake.
This may seem weird, but I think I know the feeling. Well, maybe not the exact feeling.
And Pomni's doing a really good job of comforting Gummigoo. She understands, but she also doesn't want to overstate or try to underplay Gummigoo's feelings, and so she undercuts it. But you can also tell from even the way that she speaks is that she doesn't speak from authority or with a sureness. Now, I think in this case, actually, it works for her and probably is much more comforting for Gummigoo. But I also think that that's a part of what Pomni's journey is, to be able to find her own voice, to be able to speak it and believe it in a really honest way. Not in a narcissistic, self-inflated way, but in a true way.
You still care about your buddies up there, don't you? I'm sure they still care about you.
What a beautiful way of being able to use something that is true, to be able to hold on to a nugget, to help pull someone out. I think that Pomni did a really wonderful job in being able to understand where Gummigoo was coming from, and also to give a nugget of truth that, you know what, the things that you care about are the things that matter to you, and it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks or what anyone else gives value to.
The place I'm from, if it has to be my home, maybe it can be yours too. The people there are interesting, at the very least. Maybe you could be somebody real there.
I love what she said of maybe you could be real there, or I think that what Pomni's also saying is that you could be real to me, that my belief in you, my care for you is what will make you real. The things that matter to us are what are real to us, and that makes it make a difference.
I guess I just don't want you to feel like you're nothing. I don't want anybody to feel like that.
I love the levels of empathy that Pomni has, that strong care even for someone that in this case is an NPC. A lot of people that feel this way are those super feelers, the ones that care so much about people in books or TV or movies or their stuffed animals, and they become real to them with an actual emotional attachment to them. That also, though, means that they're very absorbent to other people's feelings and can be hurt even more deeply.
Would I even belong?
I'm sure you wouldn't belong any less than me. And I could use a friend.
A friend? Suppose I could give it a try.
And the way that she said it was not, I could be your friend, I'd be doing you a favor. She said, I could use a friend. Which, for someone like Gummigoo, this is, you could save or help me. And that really changes the dynamic, especially if you have more of that tough outer coating, that you're supposed to be rough and tumble, that you could rescue me, you could help me, I need you. That really could help someone be able to do that. And so I love that Pomni actually flipped that. When you're dealing with someone that has difficulty in accepting help, if you ask them for help instead, sometimes you can help them as well.
So this is the circus, huh? I could get used to this.
Oh, looks like one of these guys made it through.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
I felt exactly the same way Pomni does. So that kind of gives you a little bit of what my personality type is like, but that pain of her caring so much, this beautiful moment, and then just poof, he happens to be gone. So if you are more aligned with a Pomni, you are that super feeler that cares a lot, but sometimes doesn't notice exactly their own worth. And what you would want to be careful with is being too absorbent to everyone else's feelings or carrying everyone else's pain. And at the same time, being able to recognize yourself.
Which leaves Crybaby and Hoo-Ha together to go handle the Zubul situation. They're the two most mentally stable and capable characters to be paired together.
My comedy mask is broken again.
Ah! Oh! Gangle, you startled me.
Kinger's archetype is that person that is easily startled or is scared of even their own shadow, is having to learn to be able to face their fears and take a look and be able to take care of themselves. I think that for Kinger being a king piece where you need everyone else to be able to support you, even though you're aware of the entire game at play, but that you need other support so you don't really have a lot of mechanisms to be able to protect yourself. And often this would come about by someone that is overprotected, that person that has been constantly bubble wrapped or had helicopter parents, that their parents were even worried if they ran because they might fall down and hurt themselves. But because of that, the entire world becomes a dangerous place. We need to be able to learn that we can fall down and get back up.
Oh, you're still up here.
Guys,
Blondie, take this!
But even though Kinger is scared of things, that doesn't mean that he isn't also brave and shows courage. And I think that for Kinger, his knowledge, his wisdom is definitely shown by being able to think through different situations and trying to problem solve. But just like a king piece that can only make one move, Kinger is so often in the moment, more of that ADHD. They are thinking about what they're doing right now. They may not always be noticing all of the other moves ahead of them.
Hey, Kinger, is that rope attached to anything?
I don't know. Let me check.
Kinger truly is only making one move at a time.
Royal figure.
Well, as a royal myself, I would like to kindly ask if... Oh, look, there's Zubul. Hi, Zubul.
Help me, you idiot!
And that shows how easily Kinger can be distracted by the things that are happening around them. And that can often happen with people that have more ADHD or ADD. That something bright or shining or really exciting happens around them, they can forget what other things they were doing or the task at hand. So you would want to handle one thing at a time, get through that, and then move on to something else. Or to be able to write notes so that you can remember what other things you have to get back to after.
I always lose.
Yes! Gotcha! Oh.
Hey! Kinger, you mother...
But Kinger also wants to help, wants to be useful, wants to take care of the group. And I think that that's a lovely trait that Kinger has.
Oh, thank God you're okay. You didn't experience a game show in there, did you?
So though sometimes Kinger is not thinking many steps ahead, he is caring and wants to be able to take care of those that are around him. So if you are more Kinger, you would want to be able to figure out different management techniques so that you don't get lost in any certain moment and forget about all of the other things that you have to do. If you hate ads more than being chased by an abstraction, or love me like Gummy Goo loves his mom, and want to hear all the saucy words that we can't put in the videos because YouTube, then head on over to Nebula. You can also check out My Arcane, Wednesday, The Boys, Last of Us, and they're all ad-free, sponsor-free on Nebula. And that's the whole purpose. Nebula is a place where you can get high quality videos that creators can post early, post extended versions of, post videos that would never ever work on YouTube. Creators like Foreign Man in a Foreign Land, Matt Crawl, Extra Credits, Morning Brew with Dan Toomey. I have also a whole course on how to beat anxiety. You can also get exclusive originals like The Getaway, Yes, I Am In It, Cheer Me On, where a cast of Nebula creators go on a road trip in a game of deception and social strategy. They're all ad-free, sponsor-free, and you can sign up using my exclusive link below. Don't use anyone else's, just use mine because it helps me out and I need it. And you can get an annual plan of Nebula for 40% off right now, $250 a month, $30 a year. Yes, grab it now because prices are going to be going up soon. So this is your last chance to get it for practically nothing. And clicking on that link really does help out my channel. And that's all early access, extended versions, courses, originals, all from Nebula creators just by clicking on the link below. Thank you so much, Nebula, and thank you for your support. Hopefully, I'll see you in the next video. I would love to do Gummy Goo. That is my favorite character, but not one of the characters that are there. You can let me know if you would want that. And you can let me know which character you would be if you found yourself in the Amazing Digital Circus in the comments below.